In this tutorial, we are going to configure the ASA firewall. I'm using a 5506 Cisco firewall, and we're going to just show you the basic configurations of basically how to configure the firewall on the network. We've done it. We'll do another video to show how to set up firewall rules. We did that with the routers, and with the ASA device, it's very similar. The only difference when we talk about an ASA device, you have to kind of understand inside networks, outside networks, and so you can configure the different interfaces. So for the purpose of this network, everything behind the router, the firewall, all of this is all the inside network. Coming off of this interface, going out to the internet, that's going to be our outside network. So you just want to be sure you remember that with respect to how we configure the interfaces. Now, if we look at a firewall device, as you see it, going to zoom in a little bit, it has several ports, so you can actually hook up multiple VLANs, multiple interfaces that it has on there. So what we're going to do, we're going to use the gigabit Ethernet interface 1/1, the number 1, as the inside interface. Gigabit Ethernet 2 is going to be the outside. And so when we do the configurations. All right, so let's go into the CLI. We're going to enable this device. Ask you for a password. For the purpose of this, I don't have any password set, so just hit enter again. It takes you into the configuration, into the global configuration mode. So what we're going to do is, here again, the same Cisco language is used here. Going to go into configure the terminal, and we're going to configure interface gigabit 1, or with the first interface. Like I said, that's going to be our inside interface, and we're going to name that. Okay, so do name IF, or name interface. We're going to give it the name. I'm just going to call it inside. And like I say, and that's what this did automatically, is set the default security level to 100, which is the default security level for this particular interface. And now we're going to give it an IP address. Same command, IP RESS. Now you could also just type add, IP add right there, and kind of another little shortcut. You don't have to type the full word address. And the IP address we're using for this interface is going to be 192.168.10.214. That's going back to our configuration mapping for our entire network. Actually, these are the IP addresses that we set up when we did our subnetting for that we set up for the ASA device. And we're also going to have to tell it with the subnet mask 255.255.255.252. Like I said, we use a CIDR of 30. Just like we did with the routers, we use the same CIDR when we set up IP addresses for the firewall. And once we do that, now we can just do the no shut or no shutdown. And what this does is actually turns on the interface. All right. So we've configured the inside interface. Now we'll do the same thing for the outside interface. And we'll exit. That gets us back to the configuration. So now we're going to configure interface G12, or the second interface, gigabit interface on this firewall. This puts us back into the interface configuration, and we're going to name it, name interface outside. Okay, so it's set. You see, it automatically by default sets different security level parameters for inside networks, outside networks, and we can always go back and change those if we want to. But for the purpose of this is just the basic configuration that we're using. Now, we have the same thing. We're going to give this an IP address. IP address 190. Well, actually, on this one, it's not a 190. It's going to be 10.10.0.2. Like I say, what we're doing here, we're emulating a Class A IP address that our internet service provider would give us. And the mask for that would be 255.0.0.0. So like I said, this is the outward facing IP address. And we've configured that. Do a no shut, exit. And now our interface should be configured. Now what we're going to do next on this interface is connect it in with our EIGRP so that it can automatically pull IP addresses. So we're going to stay in the configure mode, but router EIGRP, and we're going to put it on the same 100. But this time we're actually going to build two networks. Okay. The first network is the network that all of our that our ISP provider is on. We're going to put that on the 10.0.0.0 network. And we're going to build another network and add this one on to all of the EIGRP for all the other routers that are on the inside network. 192.168.10.0. And there, see what it did? It actually says there's a new adjacency. So it sees this IP address automatically. So, and it found the neighbor route. So it automatically, if you see now, it automatically connected to 192.168.10.213, which is this interface right here on this router. Let me pull this over a little bit more. So this interface on the router that connects here, that is .213. Like I say, this is the .214. That's the 213. So EIGRP automatically connected those up. So here again. So now, if we want to take a look at what our router looks like from a route perspective, let's exit again, get us back to here, and we're just going to do a show route. Oh man, it helps to spell it properly. And let me stretch this open a little bit. So you see we've got a connected route, which is the 10.0.0 or the external, the outside network. We have the 192.168.10.0 connected, and here are all the different subnets that EIGRP. See all the D's; those are all EIGRP routes. So now you see the inside interface is able to see, multiple all the other internal routes. So this gives us the ability to actually set up rules, set up our different ACL rules. Okay, so that is in a nutshell how we would configure and set up our ASA device. Not too difficult, is it? Not too difficult at all.